here tonight because about 2 weeks ago, Tom and I and Brandon did a podcast about an aspect of the tick that we learned, which was that Patrick Warburton had a temporary deal with Days Inn. And what was it specifically? Days Inn?
Yeah, the complimentary pillow.
Yeah, there was a complimentary in-house pillow.
Yeah.
There was like a total of like 3 dozen of them, 50 of them, something like that.
Yeah, so we only produced a handful of them. It may have been under 100. Okay. It was definitely under 100. And we gave 10 to each of the properties that were participating in it. So maybe like 100 and 115. We kept about 15 for high value corporate folks. I was not one of them, but yeah. So I gave mine away, and unfortunately. Yeah. And so we picked 10 hotels in key media markets and gave them 10 of these pillows and made them available at check-in. So on request, if you knew about the pillow, you could request it. And the pillow, as you saw, was it was a regular standard size pillow with a beautiful branded pillowcase, but you could press it and Patrick's voice would come out with one of a dozen different sayings, anything from get out there and seize the days, which is our tagline, to
amazing
making comments about their pajamas or the smell of their hair, like very, very fun and funny. Not so creepy, just things to compliment you with. Yeah, but yeah, it was great.
So, I for one am disappointed that I may never ever see this product.
Yeah. Tom,
okay.
So Tom, you were the one who brought this to my attention after we recorded about the tick. Well, I think a little about
news
maybe a month
made
or
it,
so after. So
news made
it
down here. Yeah. I saw it on my Instagram feed from a local news show.
That's amazing.
Dollar return on investment there must have been quite big. I had no idea Days Inn existed until this. Now I'm all about it.
Yes, it worked. Yeah, I had no idea until I saw your email, Brandon. Come through, and then you shared with me the Instagram post from that news outlet. I was like, damn, that's pretty impressive. But yeah, it's we do these types of events more so for kind of drawing attention to the brand, getting eyes on the brand, getting people to think about Days Inn differently. It's an older brand. She's 53 years old now. And when Cecil B. Day started the brand in 1970, he really created a new market segment. The whole concept of budget luxury was not on anyone's radar. If you wanted safe, affordable, clean accommodations, you had to pay a lot of money. But for the traveling family, you were looking for budget accommodations, but those weren't always clean, safe, or friendly. And so he created Days Inn to kind of fulfill that or fill that void. And but over the years, we've grown substantially. We were the largest franchised hotel chain for many years, and that's because we have a lot of we take on a lot of product, and we got a lot of inconsistency with our product, and that leads to a perception that's not always positive. And so we try to do these really unique things to get people to talk about Days Inn in a positive way, and it does great things for us. So glad that it found its way down to Australia, and that you all thought it was a cool idea. We loved it, and it did what it set out to do.
Yeah. In the 50 odd years that Days Inn's been going, is it all pun related names for products and things?
Yeah.
Is it all a play on days something or in or sunshine or?
Yeah, kind of. We like to kind of keep it close to home. Even back in the 70s, we had the September Days Club, which was a senior citizens club. We try to tie these things back to the brand name again to get people to, we want it to be sticky. So we want it to, be associated with Days In. Back in 2000, I think it was 17, 18, we did the Days Umbrella, so again,
my favorite so far. Yeah.
There you go. But the whole point of that was, it brought the sun to you on a gloomy day. It was LED lined and you could turn it on and it put sun on you. It was really cool. It
sounds like something my son would come up with.
Well, he has a career in PR.
Yeah.
My gosh. There's so many questions. I don't even know where to start. How did this, oh my gosh. I'm trying to figure out a specific question to ask without forgetting.
Let's go back to the pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pillow. How? Just how? How?
Right. Like, where did it start? Who got the idea? Where did it come from? Like I just picture this committee meeting.
What is your involvement with, like, how, at what point in the process? Like, are you the originator? Or are you the improver?
Yes. Yeah. So there's a team of us on the marketing team here, and we partner with external agencies who help us, kind of come up with these ideas. And so we have a PR agency that we work with, and they pitch ideas to us, and we iterate on them, and we pick the ones eventually that we feel best aligned with our strategic goals for the year. And being in the hospitality business, coming up with we're coming out of the pandemic where the prices of a hotel stay have been volatile. The prices that people are willing to pay are volatile. But also the number of amenities that went away during the pandemic. Free breakfast is no longer a thing. There's a lot of places that you can't get breakfast at a hotel anymore because of health and safety things. Daily housekeeping is a thing of the past now. Many hotels, not just Days Inn, a lot of hotels chains out there do it every 3 days, because to keep the touch points low. And so as we've stripped so many of these things away from guests, we thought it would be fun to say, here's something that's actually complimentary. This is a pillow for you, but it's tongue in cheek because it's a pillow that's actually giving you a compliment. And so that's, the idea of doing some sort of complimentary product was where we started, and we landed on the pillow because hospitality, right? And then kind of going through the process, we wanted to make sure that it was a voice with an iconic tone to it. And, there are many, many voices out there. I mean, Ray Romano has an iconic voice. Fran Drescher has an iconic voice. There's so many out there.
I'm not sure if Fran Drescher's voice would be conducive to sleep.
or many the Mastodon. I don't think that would work. That's the only way I can hear Ray Romano now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that role might put you to sleep, but we landed on Putty, on the Tick, on Patrick Warburton, because there's no other voice performer out there who has the body of work that he does, but also you instantly know that voice.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're a fan of Seinfeld, Family. Buzz Lightyear, the list goes on, the Tick, everything else, that voice. And so how great is it to have him whisper you a compliment?
And I don't think sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, full disclosure, the last podcast had us with a lot of baseless speculation on how this came about. So it's really nice to know.
It is, yeah.
That it wasn't just some random darts at a board or someone's nephew. Someone's nephew on work experience going, hey, we need a pillow.
Yeah. No, we're very purposeful in our strategies and thoughtful and just make sure that it kind of aligns with our internal brand mission for Days In is making every day brighter. And so we kind of bubble up all the initiatives to that North Star for us. And how could you not make someone's day brighter by getting a compliment from Patrick Warburton?
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed. That's about as wholesome as it gets. It's getting
nothing weird about it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I want one now.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta go.
Sad when I broke the news to you that I couldn't track one down for you. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. It's
fine.
Wonder if we could find one of those umbrellas from a few years ago you mentioned though. Maybe they're floating around on eBay.
Yeah. I actually, once in a while I'll pop my head onto eBay to see I'm not looking for the umbrellas or the pillows, but I like to see what kind of ephemeras out there for Days In on occasion. I'm half expecting to someday see the umbrella or one of the pillows show up. So who knows?
Yeah. You gotta figure.
Well, you have to get in line.
Yeah, you blew your chance when you gave yours away, and now you'll never get it back.
I feel like you're practically a coworker with Patrick Warburton in a way. So, with that in mind, what do you imagine a day of work with Patrick would be like?
Oh, that's interesting. I'm bummed to say that the day that we actually did the voiceover recording, I was not available. So it was other people, other members of the team. But from what I heard from them was that he is a joy to work with. He is as normal of a human being as you expect, him to be. He's fallible like any of us. He made a comment how he was having trouble with his home recording booth and he had to call his son in to help him figure out something on the computer. Like, he's a normal, wholesome guy, which is always a joy to hear, because, you often hear the wholesome characters that you see on television or on screen or sometimes not those types of people, but he appeared to be that way. So yeah.
Never meet your idols, I think is the saying.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Meet your heroes. Yeah.
It sounds like I could meet him all day. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Very, very chill, normal dude. And, and as is with anybody who's funny, and funny for a living, they are funny naturally when you're in their presence. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you said when he did his at home. So was he recorded it at home? He didn't like come to a specific location. You're like, come on this day. And
no. Was it pandemic?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. No, it was. Where were we? I remember I was at an airport when this was happening. So this must have been probably springtime of this year was when we recorded it. But yeah, he has a home recording booth. I believe he was doing it at his home recording booth because his son came and helped him with his computer. A lot of voice actors, especially heading into the pandemic. Even I have a voice studio downstairs. I probably should be doing this in there because
that would have been cool. But
no, you've got R2. That's fine. I'm just
down there.
You've got R2. You've got Doom Patrol. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool background.
Thank you.
We're not disappointed.
Oh, good. Yes. I wanted to impress you all. I didn't want to be in a padded room. So
yeah.
That might have impressed upon people a different perception.
One of the guests that I recorded with for the original episodes was actually in like a recording booth, and it was just like it was very bizarre. Actually, it feels much more natural to see someone like just in their room or something. Right. This guy was like in a metallic looking box eating an orange. Like, okay, I don't know if I can focus anymore on what we're supposed to be talking about when I'm just like, you look like you're out of a sci-fi movie.
Right. Yeah.
Could you hear all that orange as well? Like that would have been the perfect eating orange sound.
Ooh.
Yeah, he somehow, I don't know, I guess it did not, like I could see him eating it, but the microphone was not picking up any of that sound.
Oh, he's got all
like,
the cool plugins.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
He just did a noise floor.
Yeah. He was very set up. Indeed. Nice. Yeah. And he actually had a very amazing, sultry, smooth voice like Patrick Warburton. So if you want, I can give you his contact, Anthony.
Yeah. Put him in a commercial.
I don't even remember who it was. But yeah, so how long have you been? I mean, oh gosh, I mean, to be able to find you, we went through this whole extensive research trying to track down just like how these pillows came about, if there was any more news on them other than the original press outlet, and then we tracked down your name, and I was like, oh, I'll punch it into Google, see what comes up. We came across your website. And we're like, is this the same person? Like, this is like the
when
guy?
Do you sleep?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, just how many different hats do you wear? I mean, we had, you have actor listed on there. We looked at some of your credits. We also know that obviously how we connected with you was, well, obviously this pillow. So you're part of the marketing team for Wyndham.
Yeah.
You've got some, you're involved in other creations, creative.
I've checked out your YouTube channel. Your YouTube channel's impressive, AP.
Thank you.
The Audrey 2 you made a year ago. Yeah, I got right into that. That was very cool.
You.
I love Little Shop.
Oh, fantastic.
Everybody should check that out.
Well, we just need to plug his site. We just need to. Everyone should know who you are. Jeez.
Thank you. Thanks, Brandon.
But just what? I mean, well, what came first? I guess.
So the acting came first. So I moved to New York in the early 2000s from Maine to pursue my acting career. Mm. And I decided to not wait on tables. I didn't want to wait on tables. So I needed to find something else to do. And before moving to New York, I was doing marketing for a performing arts center there. And I learned Photoshop and web design. So this was like the late 90s going into the 2000s. And I developed that toolkit. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to do design. I'll do freelance web design and things like that. And so I paid my bills in between auditions and acting gigs by designing websites and designing print ads and things like that. And I ended up starting my own agency with a pal of mine. And so we were doing, our full-time job when I wasn't auditioning was getting new business, designing websites, building databases and backends. And this was like before WordPress was really, a big thing. Mm-hmm. I was developing a content management system, and this was all self-taught stuff, but it allowed me to, be at home, answer the phone, look for auditions, but also, chip away at client work. In 2008, when the big financial crisis happened, a lot of my business went away. One of my biggest clients was Financial Times and Pensions and Investments magazines, and that went away. And that was like 3/4 of my business. And so I was like, well, I need a grown-up job to pay my bills because, the acting wasn't as lucrative or consistent as I hoped it would have been. It's interesting. Well, yeah, all right. Yeah. It's interesting.
No kidding.
New York, I was originally going to move to LA, but I met a girl and she didn't want to go to LA, but she said she'll go to New York, and so we went to New York instead. Theater. So I was primarily a theatrical actor. New York theater is mostly unpaid, so you starve. You literally are a starving artist until you get to a point, and then if you get those off-Broadway gigs and things like that, then you can start making some dough. Versus LA, where it's mostly film and television, there's a lot more consistency in the work there. Now there's a lot of work coming to New York for film and television. And actually Netflix is building a studio here in New Jersey, which is great. So hopefully we can take advantage of that. But yeah, the work was it was too inconsistent and I needed a big boy job. And so I went and started working with a recruiter, and they got me hooked up with Victoria's Secret. And so Victoria's Secret was needing someone to help out on their email marketing team, their email marketing production team, which was, it was project management, but you were working with design and designers, and there was a little coding involved, and I had the coding background. And so I joined Victoria's Secret. And that's kind of when I started shifting away from acting. I still did some things. I did, like Cuckoo's Nest off Broadway, and was still doing like some background and small short films and stuff like that. And I that's kind of when my corporate career started, and I worked my way up the ranks there. And by the time I left, I was leading the digital experience team for their Pink brand, which is more geared towards their college age clientele. During that time, I met my wife, and she lived in New Jersey. So I gave up my rental in New York and moved to New Jersey and decided not to commute anymore. And I got a job at Wyndham, and which owns Days Inn, Ramada, Travelodge, all those. My former leader at Victoria's Secret went to Wyndham, and she knew I was looking, and so she brought me on to lead digital there. And then throughout my career there, I moved to the marketing side of things to lead marketing for Days Inn. And now I lead operations and marketing for Days Inn, which is a whole different beast, but a fun beast, because I not only handle the marketing side of things, but I'm also working with our franchisees on a daily basis. I'm making sure that the product is consistent and rolling out room packages and standards and all kinds of great stuff to make sure that we have a really great guest experience. So there's that. And then during the pandemic, I decided to start a YouTube channel. So there's the maker side, where I make everything from furniture to props and models. So R2, I made him. He's wood.
Yeah, wow.
Awesome.
3D printed.
Amazing.
Robot Man is a full 3D printed helmet that I did the electronics for and things. But I also do like renovation projects and how-tos, and slowly but surely the channel started growing and people were getting interested, and I make it's monetized, so I make a couple $100 a month off of it, which is great. So it can fund other projects that I'm working on. Yeah.
I almost feel like we're in an age of Renaissance men and women, that because of the internet, we have access to so much information, we can self-learn, and then we can push out content from a million different angles. Like, this is what I do, and this is what I make, and this is what I built. And you get to share all that stuff. So you've got all these people who are like doing all this cool stuff, that you didn't have that access 20 years ago, didn't have that ability, didn't have the software, the hardware wasn't as affordable. All of that stuff coming together is making it so that people can share their ideas. And I love it.
Yeah, how great is it? The proliferation of all the platforms that are available to us, and just the ease of use. Like, even like to your point, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have to go out and buy a 4K camera to shoot something. And now the quality on my iPhone is 100 times better than that.
Yep.
And I can make phone calls on it.
Yep.
I want to, but so you're right. We have so much access to not just information, but technology that can make us, influencers, that can make us or allow us to tell our stories and the stories that we want to tell.
I remember 20 years ago watching some documentary on projected future careers, and one of them was basically what has become the influencer.
Oh, really?
It was different. They didn't project for social media the way that it came out. So it was people showing up at restaurants and then overhearing conversations and saying, "Oh, well, if you don't like that, you should try Chase Bank." Like, they were supposed to walk around and do it, only like a street team. Only
that's how I do it,
because they have Instagram now. You don't have to. You just have Instagram. You're good to go.
I just hang out at bars and tell people stuff.
Yeah. You're like reading
what they
from
projected was the annoying nerd is what they projected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's never changed. That'll be forever. I was the guy at the bar that's telling you about like how he just read on Wikipedia about the name of Black Hawk helicopters and where they came from or something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Everyone
if only I could
has
monetize that.
Yeah. Everyone and their specialized knowledge.
Yeah. Oh man.
Very specific example. Has that happened to you? Do you know about the Blackhawk?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Very specific example because it was real. Friend invites me to the bar and I show up and then there's a Chicago Blackhawks game. I don't remember who they were facing, maybe LA. And he goes, you know about the Black Hawk helicopters? I was reading about that. And it was like a First Nations chief, which is also, where the Black Hawks come from. And it was like, okay, here we go. All right. Half an hour later, I'm like, all right, I just got a full Wikipedia article read to me. Awesome. It's like, not that I like. I mean, everything is fascinating to like when you learn something new, but it's sometimes
the game's on.
Time and place,
Yeah. Maybe you weren't receptive to it right then.
Yeah, I got 3 different games on in front of me of like NBA, NHL, and like NFL, and I'm like. Okay, yeah. Didn't really need this today, but
at least you weren't in an airplane where you couldn't get away. Like you could have left the bar anytime, but if you're on an airplane or like a train or something, yeah, you can't escape.
Oh yeah, well then you definitely can't leave. But I mean, if you're also waiting on other people, then you're gonna be like, hey, sorry, I had to leave because this guy was talking about Black Hawk helicopters when I'm trying to watch the game. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, this does not have anything to do with Black Hawk helicopters. That's my tangent. And you gave us a bit of background, and you did kind of how you came across Patrick Warburton and like he's the voice. And but then like where did the pillow idea come from? Like was that the first kind of concept, or is that something that just kind of stuck with everyone while you shot around ideas?
Yeah, it always was a pillow, but what kind of pillow? Like we started with a travel pillow. So like the ones that kind of wrap around your neck, which would have been cool, but a lot that's more for air travel, and a lot of the people who stay at our hotels are driving, to our hotels, and so we liked the idea of the pillow because it was something that was very easy to operationalize. It made sense for a hotel to do it. It's hard to have talking mini bottles of shampoo or you probably could do a talking alarm clock, but that could be annoying. So we figured, the pillow made sense for a hotel company. And so we always stuck with it, and then just kind of iterating on what type of pillow it was. And quickly it just became the bed pillow. But it had always been the pillow.
I was just wondering about the time restriction and the how small this actually was in release. Like there was how many pillows? 150, none.
It was like 100 that were distributed to the hotels. 10.
What's the economy of scale on that?
So the whole point was we were never going to make it an actual brand standard, like where every hotel can get them. That just would never have been financially possible from either our perspective to pay for it or for our hotels to buy it. Just the cost of licensing Patrick's voice for 1,400 hotels is already expensive. So we just, we had to keep it simple. These type of events are specifically meant to be short bursts of time, to be focused on key media markets. So we were in, Florida, we were in Chicago, and, we were in Chattanooga, so where we had really great properties that had, great areas that picked up a lot of press. And again, the whole point was to just get people to talk about us, to grab these pillows, get their pictures taken with them, experience the pillow, and again, just to talk about Days in a great way. And we thought it was a great way for us to kind of insert ourselves into a social conversation. Again, it's about how do we get people to tell our story in a positive way, and there's no better way to do that than to show them something really cool like a talking pillow. And again, that's why we kind of stuck with it. That's why we kept it as a short little burst of time in the summertime where we want people talking about us positively. Whether it's umbrellas or pillows or whatever comes next, they're not going to be here to stay. Just the economies of scale just is not there for technology like that.
So it makes
any
more
sneak peek on what's next?
No. Well, thanks for trying. No, we're in the process right now of kind of finessing 2023, but it will be something cool, and so make sure you have Days In on your Google alerts.
Well, clearly Australia does.
We don't have Days In.
Yeah, but you got it pinged, for heaven's sake.
I'll talk to our sales guys, and we'll get you a Days In down there in Australia.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll settle for a pillow. Still trying.
Oh man.
So where do you see digital marketing going in the next 20 years? Because I'm very fascinated with this topic.
Yeah.
Because I did some design back in the day, and I'm very curious, like how it's changed in the last 20 years. Where's it going?
Yeah. Well, in 20 years, it's changed exponentially. I mean, let's see. 20 years ago, we were barely in Web 2.0. We were in the pre-iPhone. I think Microsoft may have had a smartphone out, but we were still in Palm land and BlackBerry land. Social media wasn't a thing. You had, things like Friendster, and MySpace was around probably 2004 maybe. So I mean, 20 years ago, the landscape was wide open. And so much has changed in the past 20 years. So much has changed in the last 5 years. Now we're in Web 3. Virtual reality is even more going to be part of our lives. Facebook even changed their name to Meta to accommodate their pivot into the space. So in the next 20 years, in the next 20 years, it's going to be a completely different planet. I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see a lot more investment in virtual reality. I think we're going to find ourselves, we use the term metaverse very loosely, but it is a thing, and there are so many prime examples of it, like with Roblox and Farmville and what Quest is doing, MetaQuest is doing, or Sony's doing, or now Apple is launching their VR portal. I think we're going to see what we know as traditional direct response, going to CNN.com and seeing a banner ad. Those will always be there, I feel. But I think that companies will start shifting their spend from those kind of traditional, what will soon be called traditional digital marketing tactics, and investing in the virtual space. How do you do these experiences in the virtual space? NASX did a concert, I think in Roblox, in that metaverse, and was one of the first, musicians to do something like that. Nike has a virtual store in one of the virtual reality metaverses. I think we're going to see a lot more of that, especially as we're starting to try to tack onto the next generation of consumer who's brand ambivalent. This is their time to tell them what brands are important, why brands are important, and kind of start fostering that relationship. So when they get old enough to start, booking a hotel room or booking an airline, they're going to think about those things. So we have to meet them where they're at right now. And so, I think in the next 5 years, you're going to see a lot more companies start investing in Web3, in NFTs and metaverses and decentralized, business models to get their voice out there, because that's where humanity is heading, and there's no stopping it, as much as some people would like to.
And people are down on NFTs at the moment.
Well, the market is not doing too hot, but just like anything, the stock market for the last 100+ years, it comes and goes in waves, and same thing with crypto. But
I'll figure it out.
Precious metals too. Silver just started going up for the first time in years.
Amazing.
I mean, it was down under $14 for the longest time, and now is it like 28 or something like that?
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's impressive.
Yeah. So I got a couple questions that kind of go in different directions, but I guess we'll go with you talked about well, I guess they're kind of related. So your YouTube channel that you started where you're building things, do you think that kind of spawned from kind of creating these things for Days In, and then kind of them, as you said, only kind of being I guess you could even call them like kind of intentional flashes in the pan, per se, like they're intended to just kind of come and go, like very much so, which explains why when we tried to contact the Days in December, that they had no ideas. These things never existed. But
that's sad and hysterical at the same time. There's a lot of turnover at hotels, and you may have just gotten the wrong person.
Probably.
Yeah, but that's interesting. So the YouTube channel started. I mean, I had been doing things, making things for a long time. I've always had a maker spirit. I've always been a model maker. When I first started my entertainment career, I actually, growing up, I didn't want to be an actor. I wanted to be a special effects guy. I wanted to make models for movies.
Very cool.
As you can see. And so that's what I'm passionate about. I love making things. And so I bring that to my day job, whether it's, collaborating with my partners on pillows and umbrellas or television campaigns or whatever it is that we're working on. But the YouTube channel became this very tangible outlet for me, where I could take my acting experience, my love for making things, and then also my love for producing film or television or whatever, YouTube now, and kind of putting it all into one big package. And so this gives me, it's kind of like, it's more than a hobby. It's like a hobby amplified, because I get to fulfill my creative spirit and give it a place to unleash itself by making, filming, and then getting myself out there. And then the big kind of thing that I love most about it after the fact is once these things are out in the wild. So like right before this, so I did a video, I think it was 2 years ago now, where I made a bookcase for my daughter, or both of my kids, because both of them were around at the time, a Montessori style bookcase, and I made some plans for it. And this guy reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, I want to make this. It looks beautiful. I'm going to make it for my kids. And I just had a question on how to do, what if I want, made it taller? What kind of advice do you have for me?" And I actually kind of sketched something out for him and sent it to him. And so like kind of, making something and then inspiring someone else to make something, and then helping them on that journey. That is like the coolest part of my YouTube job, is inspiring someone to do something, and then being there to kind of answer their questions and help them out with it.
Definitely. My other question, you kind of have led into it, is you talked about inspiring others to create something. Are there any other hotel chains that have been inspired to maybe come up with their own type of thing based off what you've been doing with Days In that you've seen? None?
That's actually interesting. I know that we have our friends in the space sometimes steal things from us. Nothing.
I believe they call that biting, right?
Yeah. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Nothing jumps to mind at the moment, but the way you asked that, I feel like I may have missed something. We have seen in the past where, like, we did a dream job a couple years ago, and we did it for a few times in a row, actually, on an annual basis. It was called the Sun Turn. So again, a play on Sundays. We love our puns. Come on.
Yeah. And it's working. It's working.
Thank you. It's sticky. People remember that Sun Turn, where you submitted to be our Sun Turn, and then we would give you $10,000 and send you across the country to take stay at our Days Inns and take pictures and share them on your social media channels. And we did it one year, and then the next year, Hilton did it or Marriott did it. I was like, wait a second, that was our idea. We've seen people, I think we all kind of eat each other's lunch in one way or another, throughout the course of time. So yeah. Why? What have you seen?
Oh, no, nothing. Just curious.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
I've not seen anything. No. Tom Cash is a resident statesman now. I don't know if he's seen anything though. Tom, no.
The only thing I can remember, and I don't think this was meant as a promotion, is that one day I was driving by a Best Western at like 3 a.m, and there was a clown out front waving. It was the creepiest thing. I swear this is true, and it's the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'll never forget it.
I don't think that's a promotion.
No, I don't think so.
Was that official?
They're
You've just seen a creepy clown.
Creepo the clown.
Wow.
But Anthony, is that something seriously? Is that something Days In might consider 3 a.m. clowns?
You know what? Nothing off the table. We might send the clown over to the Motel 6 across the street, though.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, an anti-promotional clown. There you go. Genius.
Exactly.
There you go.
I think the market's ready for it. I think the world is ready for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you got those 3 hotels nearby and you just need a place to rest your head, you're not sure which one to go to.
It's the one without the clown.
The one without the clown is what I'm picking for sure.
I'm going to do a nationwide casting call for clowns.
There you go. No need to have a meeting for that. You just got to call, look in the yellow pages. Since you've let us know that we're not going to get our hands on any pillows, do you have any plans to start making any of these creations for purchase, maybe?
The things that I make for the YouTube.
Yes.
I'm thinking about it. I like the Doom Patrol Robot Man. I'm thinking about producing a couple of those to sell. I did a rat catcher wand from Suicide Squad.
Okay.
That. And I'm just kind of tinkering with things, that I can kind of mass produce. I've made picture frames and wine racks, and I've been fantasizing about doing like a Christmas market. So maybe next year I'll do go to a farmer's market and sell picture frames and stuff like that that are all homemade.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm also so being in SAG, the Screen Actors Guild. I get all screeners for the SAG Awards, so you can watch the movie and then you vote for the SAG Awards. So I literally have a stack actually down in the shop of DVDs like this tall, and so I'm actually going to make disco balls out of them. So I might sell those.
Oh wow,
that's awesome!
Yeah, that's cool.
Like cut them up and then
like a mosaic.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
what a great idea.
Thank you.
They'll leave a full one and have like a Death Star looking thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Yes.
So it sounds like you do quite a bit of work from home, but do you do a lot? Like, do you travel a lot for work as well?
Ooh, yes. So I probably travel 50,000 miles a year just on a plane.
Wow.
I mean, next week I'll be gone for the week. I'll be gone for the next 3 weeks. I'll be in Florida. I'll be in, where else am I going to be? Tennessee and no, North Carolina. And then
where do you stay at? Sorry.
Where do you think?
not Comfort Inn. No, I mean, I stay at only Wyndham hotels, of course, usually Days Inns or La Quintas or Ramadas. But I do a lot of traveling because I have 1,400 hotels. And so we spend a lot of time with them, whether we're negotiating a deal or helping them out with an operations thing, or just meeting with a group of them at a regional meeting. We're on the road quite a bit. So when I'm not on the road, I do work from home, although my office is about 45 minutes north of me. I get to the office maybe once a week. It's good to see people that you're not related to. At least once a week.
It's healthy to get out of the house, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is what it's like to drive it. This is nice. But no, I spend most of my time, when I am here working from home, which has been fantastic. I think one of the positives of the pandemic was that it showed the world that you can be just as productive, if not more, working from home than it is from an office. And we have a huge remote workforce now, which is phenomenal. And I find that, when I do go to the office, I'm sometimes less productive because, people like to drop by, or it's like, oh, another human, let's talk with you for a few minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many more distractions there versus, I'm in my office at my house right now, and this is where I sit during the day and I work and I have my monitors and I make my phone calls and I get it done. So it's great.
I found that very interesting that you said that sometimes you're less productive at the office because I don't know about down south, but here in Canada, they've been there is a law being passed. Well, not a law, but like a mandate where they're making, at least federal workers, if not the entire workforce, to eventually have to return to the office at some time this year.
Interesting.
I was like, I thought everyone was like good with being at home, and like,
there's talk of that in my state as well.
Really trying to push that here as well. I'm struggling to work out what it is. I can see that there would be positive social aspects for people just getting out of their house and interacting with people who aren't related to. That's always a nice change, but I'm really struggling to work out why, when people are set up at home, you would want to have a physical space if you honestly didn't need it. Or you maybe have a smaller space or something, but there's this push to go back to work, and I'm struggling to work out what that is.
You need more spaces to store people and stuff if you've got everyone in the office. It makes no sense. The overhead, none of it makes sense.
It's interesting. My girlfriend, she works mostly from home, and she's like, you know what? If they just got rid of the office, they wouldn't have to pay rent. They could all pay us more.
Right. Exactly.
That's not how that works.
We're all happy. No, it's not. But it's like we're all happy working from home, and I guess they pushed back the Christmas bonus, and she's like, well, they could have gave it to us if they weren't renting the office.
Fair point.
Fair point. Can't argue. But I don't know. I guess there is kind of, I guess, sometimes there's an aspect of people have more kind of comfort in tradition, I suppose, and like going to the office and seeing so and so and stuff. It's kind of a age-old thing. So maybe too much too soon can be overwhelming for some people, I don't know.
Sure. It also, mandate back to the office kind of severely limits the talent pool now too. In the old days, you were lucky. The old days 3 years ago, you were lucky if you found someone that was of high quality that you wanted to work for your company, and they were willing to move to your state to be in the office. If they lived in San Francisco, for example, and you wanted them to come to New York, now doesn't matter. You can hire someone who lives in California, Las Vegas, Chicago, wherever you want in the world. All you need is an internet connection, and you're getting just as talented, if not more talented people, because the pool is now way bigger.
Yeah,
that is so true. We the person that we hired to do the theme song for the podcast lives in Japan. Has for the last 18 years. And
he's originally from Montreal. Yeah. I mean, moved to Japan. Yeah. It's awesome. And then literally does stuff on Fiverr mostly for North American people. So it's very fascinating how he's from Canada, moved to Japan, and now mostly works for Americans.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Fascinating stuff. Yeah. So you mentioned you're traveling a lot the next few weeks, and is that mostly to do with Days In related stuff?
Oh, yeah, it's all Days In related stuff. All of my other things, acting or the YouTube things take place, here in New Jersey. So or New York.
Any cool acting gigs coming up?
Unfortunately, no. It's my attention, I audition, regularly for voiceover things because they're easy to navigate, and I can, pound it out wherever I am. Because I'm doing so much traveling, it's hard to commit to going to set and shooting something. So I'm kind of slowly getting back into it. I started taking acting classes again in the pandemic, just to kind of keep the dust off. And, I do things with friends here and there. But the YouTube channel is really my creative outlet. I'm looking to maybe produce a play this year, which I just need to kind of find the venue and pick the show. And it's been a while since I've produced a play. So when you're the producer, you have a lot more control over all over the different components of it and the schedule, which is important to me because I travel so much. So I'm hoping that sometime this year I produce at least one play. Whether I act in it or not will be decided by the fates, but I prefer to act in it. But I want to produce at least one show this year. Stage play.
Cool. Yeah, I think we'd all love to be involved with our own projects for sure. Yeah. You write something and you have the ability to act in it. You're like, yep, I'm going to do that. I don't think there's anyone who's ever been like, no, I'm just going to take a back seat here. This is my baby. I'm going to do it. Yeah. You're talking to... I think most of us Tom, your son does, he's getting into stand-up in Australia there.
Yeah.
I used to do some stand-up and some acting that I'm trying to get back into. And
very nice.
Tom Cash, you always kind of circle around the creative types of things. Yeah. Yeah, but then we've just kind of found that podcasting is sort of the easiest thing.
It is.
Quick outlet.
It is. Yeah. It is so much easier to just because it's conversational and you don't have to worry about makeup and lighting and all this other stuff.
You don't have to worry about makeup and lighting.
Well, okay. Okay. Well,
hey.
I forgot myself. I apologize.
It's been so much easier and being able to starting this series and then collaborating with almost 30 different people from almost 30 different places and even out different continents, like Tom down there in Australia. And it kind of all led to this, which is like nowhere I think me or Tom, who has basically been a part of this project since the beginning. Well, pretty close to it. I mean, I started this like November 2020. So
Yeah.
You were like January. And then, so this has been like over a year, and it all kind of has led to, I guess, well, you, Anthony. So this is like, I mean, we
All
had
the
no
stars
idea
aligned.
where it was gonna go. We had no idea where it was gonna go, but it's cool that it ended up here. And I mean,
yeah,
it was just like a very odd, kind of perfect storm that we went off a random list, and the tick was there, and me and Mr. Tom Croucher down in Australia there, we had connected on a couple of individual podcasts we did, and I asked him to if he wanted to do this, because I literally needed 30 people to connect with. That was my goal, was 30 different shows, 30 different people. So I just kind of canvassed everyone and reconnected with some people that I had before. And then he picked the tick with Patrick Warburton. And, I guess
we're talking pillows.
We recorded it on Zoom. So maybe they sold his info, and then he got, stuff about the pillow. And now it's all come full circle now. So.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's nuts how it all kind of, for us, it's crazy how we even connected with you, and that you're able to even give us like insight into anything whatsoever. And I guess my question out of all this is, have you seen The Tick?
As you were talking about the tick, I was like, have I seen The Tick? I must have seen at least one episode of it. But I can just picture him in the big blue bug suit.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah, that's is it streaming anywhere?
It's honestly about 20 years old. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I found it. I mean, I could probably send you a link based off where I watched it. I think it was like internetarchives.org or something like that.
It's on Tubi, Crackle,
Tubi. Okay.
YouTube,
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
Google Play,
Tubi.
and Amazon Prime.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Got it.
I couldn't get it here.
Oh, okay. We got to get a VPN.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's only United States. I have no idea what the availability is.
We just pirate everything anyway.
Oh, there you go.
It's Australia.
Yeah.
Didn't do a new Tick series as well?
There was. Yeah, there was. Yeah, in 2016, there was one with
Peter Serafinowicz.
Yes, that man right there.
Who I think he's amazing. I still think Patrick Warburton was the better Tick, but Peter Serafinowicz can do no wrong in my book. He's always funny. He's always creative. He's always like top build in terms of like his impersonations and his characterizations. He's just an incredible performer.
His UK sketch show from years ago was hilarious.
So good.
It was so good.
So good.
Yeah, he's amazing. Well, Anthony, if you're interested, we could stream a very short clip of Patrick Warburton as a Tick off YouTube.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah. We could check that out. I have the elevator fight, Tom Croucher. Would you agree that's probably the clip to show?
No, it's either that or the vending machine at the start.
I've got the I have the Tick versus the vending machine. That's perfect.
Come on, metal fiend. Stand back, citizen. So, vending menace, we meet again. Jiggle thingy. Harmless bandit. Empty your bladder of that bitter black urine men call coffee! It has its price, and that price has been paid! Java Devil, you are now my bitch. Well, here you are, weary traveler, one steaming hot cup of justice. No need to thank me. It's my sworn duty to defend this bus station against the ravages of evil.
Yeah, he still actually talks about it like all these years later. He still he talks about it as like it was a passion project for him, and he was so happy to have been able to make it, and that he's even apparently there's rumors. Well, it might have been for a while now, so who knows? But there's rumors of an animated series that he will be back to voice the Tick potentially.
Really?
So, that could be something to look out for. Maybe. But to us, it made perfect sense to have him as the pillow, because we watched that series and we're like, all these one-liners are like, it was like you having never seen it is so interesting that you made the pillow from it, because to us we were like, well, this makes perfect sense. The way this guy dishes out one-liners,
right?
No doubt.
There must have been a fan in the room when you were pitching voices.
Oh, well, yeah. Patrick has just such, everyone knows his voice regardless of the Tick. You go all the way back to Seinfeld, Family Guy, of course, probably where I think of him more fondly. But like every commercial, that seems to be out there. I think he's doing the Charmin commercials now. He is. It's recognizable. So
and that is comfortable, which is exactly the image you're trying to put out, right? Is one of comfort. So
was Sam Elliott ever on the radar? that guy's like one. Him and Patrick Warburton are like 1 and 1A for like deep voice commercial voiceover.
That's true. We had a big list. I couldn't tell you who else was on it though. I don't even remember, because we're going way back into the archive now.
Of course. Barely
remember yesterday. So
but unless we have any further questions, I don't think we do. Not that this is a court drama or anything like that. Any further questions?
What is your final? All right, everyone else send the jury out to deliberate.
The jury is out, and we thank you for joining us, Anthony. This was fun, and we're glad that we finally have some insight and that we're not completely crazy, and these pillows were real. You're real. It was good.
It really is. No, because it felt
seriously.
so bizarre. It was so bizarre to us that we're like, I need to have a human being to associate this with so I can understand it in reality, and it isn't some weird fever dream. So
it was
thank
amazing.
you so much for being on the show.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for reaching out. It was nice to receive an email from you, and I was so surprised by it that I couldn't resist to not reply to it. So no, I'm glad I replied back, and thank you for having me and letting me share my story. It feels like my life story. But this was a lot of fun. Now I have to go watch the entire Tick series.
Maybe we will too. We only reviewed the 2 episodes due to trying to do 30 shows was insane. So we only got 2 episodes. So we're all about to go watch the Tick, and that's a perfect send off for this. Anything you want to plug or anything?
Yeah, sure. If you head over to anthonypizzuto.com, you can see my professional, my acting, my YouTubing. It's anthonypizzuto.com.
And we will make sure to plug that, and thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.